to episode 5 of the podcast. Um, we have a pretty good one here today. Nothing that was too recent. This movie came out in 2017, so it'll be a little bit of looking back. I know we've done a few newer ones like Suicide Squad and Black Widow and um, those recently. But Wheelman, a little bit of a break from that, and it'll be a great discussion because this is a movie I haven't seen, and Cody recommended it to me, so we watched it together today. And I would say it's a refreshing movie after seeing movies that are 2 hours and 40 minutes long, or almost 3 hours long. This movie is only an hour 22, so since you know more about this movie than I do, Cody, I'll let you take the reins on this one and sort of explain what's happening in this movie, and then we can discuss the very unique filming style of Wheelman.
Okay, well, for those who are unaware of our podcast, major spoilers, we're doing a full review. That is my cat. Um, so, Wheelman is about what you would think is a getaway driver who is paying his debt to a mob that helped him out and took care of his family when he was in prison. And now this movie is about one of his jobs that have gone wrong in his adventure trying to get it right and help everybody out. And you get a lot of interesting filming styles and shots. You get it's all focused on inside the car. So it reminds me of, what was it, 1917, where it's different in the sense of, well, 1917 you had one constant shot, and this you have another
Yeah.
perspective that's completely different, which is all in the same area. Like, you're always inside the car, and the movie begins with you already in the car and nobody's in it yet. So for the majority of the movie, you're staying inside the vehicle, getting cool shots around it, getting close-ups of his cell phone, which plays a very big part in this film. And you know, it's very, instead of being very open, and I'm comparing it to 1917 purely because it's got a different style of like camera work that makes it that's like clearly the notable aspect of this movie. That it feels very claustrophobic. It's like almost the complete opposite, and I think that makes it really unique and worth a watch at least once.
Mm-hmm.
It is, you can, even though it's like an hour and 18 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
It still
Roughly around.
feels like a longer movie because there are a lot of slow spots. But it's got a lot of good action sequences. It's got a lot of fun driving. I think people who are like just fans of cars, fans of classic cars, will like this movie a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's still definitely an action thriller, but a slower pace, takes itself really seriously. Yeah, so that is what we just watched. I have seen it a couple times now, showing it to friends, seeing it myself. Now I've watched it with Luca. It's been a year or two since I've seen it last. I enjoy rewatching movies that I like a lot. This is a personal favorite of mine. So what did you think, Luca?
Um, I thought it was a fairly good movie. It's definitely engaging, I would say. You mentioned that there were like slower parts, and I mean, yeah, I could agree that some of the stuff was slower, but you're kind of in a sense always moving, so it's interesting that you say that there's like some slower bits, even though like we never really slow down. He's always kind of in a rush in a way. I do like the aspect of always being in the car. Um, and I wonder what the budget was for this movie, because like they really only had to pay for like probably the labor, the cars, and probably to like close off certain areas for the set. So I really wonder how the behind the scenes works. Um, but I'm also seeing right now if we can actually show some clips to like review them on the spot, because I do want to show people some of the some like clips that we liked if we could find them. But as long as I think if we what
I mean, there's a trailer on IMDb we can play. But
Uh-huh.
I don't know if we are allowed to show Netflix clips right on the stream.
We'll have to look into that because I've
Yeah,
been wanting to do um, just show some of the clips that we're talking about.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I think one of the most noticeable things is the intro in this movie. It sets the scene completely for the unique filming style. Um, I think it's really cool how you don't start with the main character. You start by yourself, and the main character comes to you instead of like
mm,
an intro where you meet him. It's kind of like right into the night of action.
mhm.
But you know, it starts with empty car, dark garage, and then the lights come on. The the garage opens. The mechanic pulls out the car from the main character. I that grabbed my attention right away when I watched it the first time.
Yeah, because they could have done that shot completely differently. They could
Yeah,
have had the guy. They could do just a standard shot of, oh, here's the garage, and like they could show the character outside the garage, and then the mechanic just pulls the car out and he looks at the car and whatever. But it's interesting to see, it's almost like a first person view, but it's the first person view as like a passenger or somebody in the back of the car. What also would have been interesting, if they ever wanted to try something different, or well, they already did try something different, but another take or another perspective would be to see it from the driver's perspective and seeing how he would drive, or like, just his view of what is going on. But we also sort of get that same thing of the view from the car. um
yeah.
but yeah,
You get the cool shifting shots and his feet, and then you get the shots of the wheels, and then they obviously keep going back because in this movie the notable thing about the car is that it has a red trunk, and they always go back to that shot. Um, yeah, I think there's a lot of cool little notes in here that point out the uniqueness of the car, and then they always make sure to point out the damage and like every little thing the guy does, because you're kind of like, it's almost like you're there with him, like you're in the next seat most of the time.
mm,
Yeah,
yeah. And then like when he brings that when Clay into the car, you're kind of pushed to the back seat.
yeah,
So then it's almost like, all right, like now you're a passenger in the back seat and you're seeing the things happening from behind them.
yeah.
So it's very clever in terms of the way they filmed things.
Mm.
And I'm curious to see when we go into the reviews how people react to that, because I feel like maybe that is, people are like, I focused on the story, or I focused on some of these other things and completely forgot that, like, it was, I would say, it's pretty genius to say what he did. Who's the
Yeah,
director?
I
Jeremy
think
Rush.
it's you know it's definitely not a normal movie. If anything, this is like a passion project. It's like
Hmm.
it's definitely a project more than like a normal film. It's it's so unique in its filming to the point where I wouldn't say this is a traditional movie. In that
Right.
besides the length, um, yeah, it's I think what makes it worth the watch is how different it is, and I think you can't compare this to other like car movies. I feel like this kind of style is
Mm.
its own genre, kind of like how you know 1917 is its own genre, and one of the first, probably the first movie to be like a single shot like that, or styled to be. This has its own unique style that puts it in its own category for the most part.
Yeah, I would say this is some of the Netflix puts out a lot of movies, um, and I've just yesterday, I watched Army of the Dead.
Mm.
That was a Netflix movie, um, but I would say that this is stylistically one of the better Netflix movies I've seen.
Mm.
Um, I really enjoyed it, and I kind of got lost in sort of the background and the environment, obviously because like you were telling me, oh, did you see this? Did you see that? And I'm like focused on, oh, why the water droplets look pretty on the windshield, and
Ooh.
it's just the way that the lighting is and stuff. I like the moodier scenes. So
Yeah, no, it's really cool how like you get to experience the city from like inside the
yeah,
car and see everything around him, and the quiet streets. And I love how that scene where he goes to pick up Clay, the guy he's working with to do the job, the guy who really hired him, I believe, like below the mafia or the mob.
hmm
When he goes inside to get him, you're left inside the car by yourself again, you know?
Yeah.
And you have to wait for him to do whatever he's doing inside. There's only a few shots where you follow him not in the car, and then they're for notable reasons. Like, if he leaves the car, there's a huge reason he's doing it, you know? And he even says, like, to Clay, and be like, I'm not giving you this car. I'm the wheelman.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's sort of, it follows him, but you know, it's interesting. And then even when he leaves the car, like in that scene where he tells his daughter to stay, and the daughter is driving, even when he leaves the car, you stay with the daughter in the car.
Yeah, I like how
So
it changes perspective like that.
yeah, so it's almost like, okay, now you're stuck with the daughter, and you're like really hoping that she's good at what she's doing, because now she's sort of driving you around. So it's definitely an interesting perspective, and I really like the way that they did that kind of stuff. Let's see. I want to know what the budget is, because I want to know how much Bud get. Wheelman Bud get 5 million.
Really low.
So that's super low.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it is in this movie. Is what you got:
2 cars, the actors,
two main cars, the actors that never leave the cars. You just need to. It's not like they have like a permanent set. They just got to go around the city and find things to do. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a surprisingly low budget, like insanely low.
But I think with that budget, it looks like, you know, it's on par with all the other movies that we've seen.
Yeah.
You know, obviously there's no CGI within the movie, probably besides gun like muzzle flash and all that kind of stuff. That's probably all CGI. But I would say, like, I was not expecting that low of a budget. I'm kind of surprised all the work that they did with $5 million.
And I see that the main actor is quoted saying he called it a great experiment. Yeah,
An experiment?
Yeah, it definitely is a very experimental film. Like this, it's not bad in the sense you'd see it on YouTube. It's amazing. It's just something that's like, it's so much not a traditional film that being on Netflix kind of like elevates it. You know, like I wouldn't have been surprised if this is something, you know, he did with a YouTuber. If it looked worse, you know, like it's definitely, you know, like a short film.
I'm trying to find where the box office numbers are.
Well, it was only on Netflix. I don't know how they'd, you know.
Oh, right. There is no box office.
Yeah.
So I wonder.
I don't think it came out anywhere else.
So then how does that work?
Netflix probably pays
them.
They probably get paid for. Don't forget, Netflix knows who watches what, how much, how often. So they probably get paid per view, as if they were, like, kind of like if they did a TV show. You know, so I know they probably got a couple cents from us watching now. That'd be an interesting topic to discuss. Is how Netflix pays these, like, the crew and the actors of films that only release on their platform.
How much? Now we gotta figure this out. Let's see.
They get paid per time spent filming, obviously, and then residuals when it's on. Yeah, so they get paid residuals just like if it was, you know, on TV. So.
He said, so Frank Grillo, the main actor, said that he's a truck guy.
Yeah, I saw that, but he still had fun with it. I mean, that's got to be a cool movie to be.
He dropped 286 F-bombs. That's crazy. He swore 286 times.
Oh my god, somebody called this man's mother.
Like, let your mother let you speak with that mouth? Yeah. It was filmed in Boston. Did they mention that in the
It was filmed in Boston?
Yeah, did they mention?
Well, they mentioned,
obviously they have the accent.
Yeah, they have the accents, and they mention street names. I don't know if they mentioned the city because they never have to leave it. So, I mean, there's a Philly guy and there's a West End guy. I don't know. I don't think so. I guess if you look up the street names from the movie, maybe they're real. I mean, I imagine they were literally just like I imagine they had people from the movie going around to spot for good, good places to film in, a good parking garage for those couple scenes. So.
What else was Fred Grillo in? Let's see.
Well, he was Crossbones in Captain America: Civil War, and he was in Winter Soldier. Yeah, he's good. He's probably one of my favorite actors. He also was in that new movie he did where he keeps dying on repeat. I forget what it's called.
Keeps dying on repeat.
Boss Level. Just came out this year. Maybe
Boss
another
Level?
one we can watch. It's another
one.
one.
Oh my god, he was in a ton of movies this year. One, two,
well, Boss
three.
Level only had a budget of $45 million. And
he was in 9 movies this year.
Well, it's actually got really good reviews too, and it's just came out this year. I saw a lot of commercials for it. It's former special forces is trapped in a time loop and relives his death over and over again. To escape the terrible situation, he must track down those responsible and stop them.
Oh my god.
That's on
Jong is in
Hulu.
it. Ken Jong.
That's something we can watch.
That guy's everywhere. Mel Gibson's in it though.
Yeah, he was in The Gray, Prison Break. A lot of.
Oh yeah, I watched Prison Break too. Okay, so that's
apparently he was in Loki.
Loki. Where was he in Loki?
Maybe not. Maybe the thing's wrong online too. But yeah.
I mean, there's so much in Loki that I don't really, if he was in it, I probably would have just forgot about it.
But yeah.
Yeah, he's a pretty good actor. I like him.
Yeah. I kind of want to watch Boss Level now.
I mean, we could review that next if you want.
We can, we'll add it to our list. See if other people want to review it because it looks like an interesting film.
Yeah, there's so many movies out there now too. It's like,
yeah, I know.
You know,
he's got that notable like anti-hero look. Leather jacket, the accent, the jawline, and the spiked hair. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
But this movie, I mean,
where's he from?
I feel like with this movie, you kind of have to go see it. Like, we could talk about it and try to explain things to you, but you just gotta watch it because, it's a good watch. I would watch it again if somebody wanted me to watch it with them.
Yeah, it's fun to dissect.
Yeah, it's a good movie to dissect and look to see what else is going on.
And the plot is simple, but it doesn't. I don't think it has to be any more complicated. You have a main plot, and then you have the subplot with his family, and I don't think it needs to be any more complicated.
Yeah, it's simple. And
and the things with the phone calls are funny too. Like when he
dude, how did he have that much battery? Like, his phone was like always on.
It's like an hour, and that's only like 2 hours. It's fine.
His phone was like just constantly on. If my phone was on at that brightness level that he had it on, it'd probably be like 20% within that time frame.
I know. 2 out of 10.
He didn't have any charging.
Unrealistic.
His earbuds didn't have a microphone on it, so it probably sounded like he was far. Did it?
Yeah,
I thought the one that he had in didn't have a microphone.
Yeah, he was only wearing the one with the microphone. You see that little the tiny little rectangle with the buttons for up and down. Usually it's a mic up on it. So.
I thought it was just one of the wired
I'm gonna
ones.
show the cars on stream. So.
Yeah.
This is the Porsche that is towards the end of the movie. This is his personal car that he takes to the track with his daughter a lot. And then you have the BMW, the E46. It was already like one of my. I always wanted this car before I saw this movie. So when it became, the main part of a awesome action thriller, I was like, I want to see this because of the BMW, and it was definitely really cool. Now I want one that's black with a red trunk. Probably wouldn't be hard to find. And then I have
How much is that car though?
Which one?
The BMW E46.
That one's I think a little bit more expensive than the E30 series.
E46 M3, 17,411 with. That includes all the models like convertible SMG and manual variants.
Yeah, I I only want a manual one. Yeah, there's like the 3 series that are a little cheaper, like 7 to 9 grand usually.
What's the difference between the 3 series and I don't know something
They're
else?
like I think it's like, bigger motors, different look, the higher up package.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, they're really cool.
Apparently they're really
cars.
reliable. So if you're looking to get into a BMW, then
Sponsor us,
it's
BMW.
great because it's
No,
incredibly affordable, it's reliable,
BMWs
and
are
it's great.
not reliable.
Well,
That's
apparently
for another
the
discussion.
BMW E46 is.
Yeah, they just need a lot of work in their later years, and all those cars are now going to be, 20 to 30 years old. So, but yeah, the Porsche is cool, and this is a shot of the car that they used to film, and I put it on stream right now. You can see all the cameras, and I think there are doors. They just take the bumper off to strap cameras in a bar for everything. Yeah, lot of.
Put all those cameras on, right? You put all those cameras on it. Like, do they have to get rid of all those cameras in the final edit? Like, they have to
Well,
scope them out or something?
no, I imagine they have one with cameras and they have one not with cameras for different shots.
So, like, when he's driving, he's probably driving a car like that,
Like
the rigged up one.
when you're on the inside. I mean, sorry, when you're on the outside looking in, it's probably that car, and then when you're on the
Mhm.
inside, it's probably someone with a camera sitting in there. Yeah, and then when they show the outside of the car in a chase scene, then it's the other one too.
And then they have a chase or like a chase car or whatever the other one is, right?
And they probably have I mean, you can see it in the shot. This one already has the bullet holes in the window, in the windshield. So
That would bother me so much. I had a crack on my windshield, and
he's really not worried about that.
It bothered me so much, dude. When I had to drive around with it, I was like, I got this distracting crack in my windshield.
Can you imagine? He's just like, I got 200,000 in the trunk. Let me just go get this fixed first. Safe Flight, where can you meet me?
Hey, they're pretty quick though.
They're like, plan the drop. He's like, I gotta go to Safe Flight first. They're quick and reliable service. Yeah. No, I mean, he knew as soon as Clay died in the car, that meant there was gunpowder in it. So he knew it. I think he knew at that point that he had to ditch the car.
Yeah, he wasn't taking this one.
Yeah, as soon as there were bullet holes in it or anything, I mean, it's already got the red trunk. So as soon as they rob the bank, he's not going to use it again. But yeah.
But the Porsche also got shot at.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but there were no bullet holes in the Porsche after, and I think that's just because it's a really rare car and they couldn't do that. Either I wonder if they either Netflix bought it for the thing or they
Rent it.
Yeah, or they borrowed it from a collector and promised him it wouldn't be damaged in the filming process.
Oof.
Like
that guy probably had to get a chunk of change for that to use that car. See. It looks like it'd be really tight in there.
Cause it's over $1 million car,
So if the engine's in the back,
yeah,
why is the gas cap all the way in the front?
Well, the tank's probably towards the middle.
Oh.
I mean, when you put gas in a car, the gas cap is like up high on the side, but there's a tube that runs down to the tank. So the tank is probably towards the front underneath the dash, I imagine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nice looking car.
Yeah, I mean, mid-engine cars are not that crazy. They've been around a long time. A lot of sports cars, The new Corvette is mid-engine. So, trying to look up the underside. See if we can find a shot. Yeah, engine's in the back, transmission's backwards, looks like.
What's so? Oh, I want to compare it to the BMW.
Mm-hmm.
What year was this Porsche?
It's probably 1960s. Let me look up.
1960.
60s or 70s. Let me see. 1984 Porsche 911. But
Jeez,
they've
you're
looked the
way
same.
off.
They've always looked the same in like the earlier ones too.
I'm trying to find it. I guess I'll just have to compare it side by side. So specs, 911.
I'm sorry, that was wrong. So he meets Katie, who drove his 1973 911 Carrera RS. So let's see how much that costs.
Oh my god.
They're worth, set at auction over $1 million. Yeah. I actually saw one at work last year. It was really cool.
Let's see. I just want to know if it's like if it was faster or not.
I would imagine it's a race car. Let's see, 0 to 60, 5.3 seconds, and then you look up BMW E46.
Top speed 150.
BMW is 4.7 seconds, and the Porsche is 5.3. But that's just a 0 to 60. It has a... Yeah, the BMW is a little bit faster. But don't forget that BMW is also 20 years newer.
Right.
Yeah. So for its time, Porsche's...
Because when they were driving and that truck or that SUV was catching up to them, I'm like, but he's in like an older race car, so like how would that SUV?
Well, that's still really fast.
The SUV?
No, the Porsche is still really fast.
No, it's still really fast, but I was just wondering how.
And I imagine Porsche's not. I imagine, like, hypothetically, that character did not leave that Porsche.
Hey, who's this guy?
Stock.
Who's this guy?
I
don't want to buy followers.
I mean, you are. You're talking about a 1 second difference in a quarter mile, which is still a lot, but it's not insane.
Yeah. Do you see this, Cody? Some guy wants us to buy followers.
No thanks. That's not a guy.
No thanks.
That's a bot.
I know it's a bot.
You can
ban him.
Hey,
ban him.
How you doing, OBH 1789456123441? I love your name.
Really creative.
Really. Yeah, so the car is really cool. I've seen people comment in this movie how the car sounds are not realistic, but obviously they have to beef them up for the film. At least the BMWs, because, just to make it interesting, it's not a surprise. Every movie edits sounds. Sounds in movies.
BMW's been filtering their engine sounds into the cab anyway. On their i8 model.
Oh.
Cody's like, what are you talking about?
No, I don't know anything about that car.
You don't? It's they well, since it's an electric car,
I don't like new cars.
They put fake engine noises in it to make it sound fast inside the car.
I'd be okay with that.
People are like, oh, it's not real.
Well, it's like, then buy a real car.
Hey, I like electric cars.
Okay.
But we're a movie review podcast.
This is true.
Harvard.
We're off topic, but then again,
it's on topic.
No, the cars in this movie are very important, and they play a big part. I think the cars fit this film really, really well. They're both really cool. They're fast. They sound good, even if it's not real noises. The whoever designed the sounds, the soundscaper, did a good job.
The Foley guy, which is the sound artist, they probably literally just got a car. Like they probably just took that car and stood next to it with the microphone or whatever and just revved it for certain areas. Like they probably those are probably the actual car sounds.
Yeah, and then they probably just beefed them up with bass for the movie or something like that. But they do sound really good. I love that intro when he that first time you change perspectives and you're no longer behind him and he starts like shifting and flooring it and you change to his feet, to the wheels, then he slams on the brake and the clutch and you slowly see the BMW logo as the wheels stop
Yeah.
spinning as fast, and then his face comes out of the glare. It's a
While he
really
was
cool
doing it, I
shot.
was like,
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. And I love the um, like the kick maneuver he does when he does corners, and it zooms in on the the feet. Really really cool stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think this movie definitely appeals more to fans of cars, but I think it's just at least a decent action thriller. I think if I had to rate this based on just the uniqueness of the filming and the experimental part, I'd give it like a 9. It's like really interesting that way. But if you
Mhm.
are talking in the grand scheme of things, and you really have to, you have to include plot, and I mean, I don't know. I think. Do you want to go right into the reviews now, or do you want to talk more about?
we could talk about the reviews. I think we've talked about the movie. I mean, the movie is really. I just want to say it's pretty much almost one note in terms of what's going on.
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
straightforward.
There's really no
Yeah, and if we were to discuss it anymore, we'd spoil the whole thing for
complexities.
those who do want to see it. But
Yeah, there's nothing complex to
yeah,
discuss.
it's
It's one note in terms of
yeah,
yes, action, and then like you get to some climax portions of it, and then it sort of cools down and then
yeah.
builds back up again.
And he's dealing with his
It's
family. I think it suits the style of the movie. I don't think it should have been any more complicated, because then you're trying to follow along with that and the shots in the car. I think it suits it. Let's go to Rotten Tomatoes first because I think they're really interesting here. You've got an 88% on the tomato meter by critics.
only
and you have-
25 reviews.
yeah, and then you got
surprisingly.
66% for the audience score. I think the higher critic rating is going to be due to the unique art style, and I think the audience score that's lower is probably due to, I don't know, the lack of plot or the pacing.
Really, this person says, or Anthony F says, the concept of filming an entire movie from the inside of a car has been done before, so that is not unique. But this movie does it well. What other movie
I don't know. Nothing
is
notable.
it filmed in a? Somebody's like terrible. It's a guy sitting in a stationary car screaming obscenities into one phone call after the next. Now, once did they even show the actual car? If you're gonna name a movie Wheelman, show some cool car stuff at a minimum.
They did. Saw the car. This guy says it's an astonishing debut for a potent new filmmaker. So I guess this is someone's first film. And to them, I'd say, well done. A ride worth taking. This person says, Richard Roper, top critic, says, make sure you hit pause if you have to walk away from the Netflix stream for a moment because you don't want to miss a trick here. Fast-paced neo-noir thriller is a perfect fit star vehicle for Frank Grillo. Yeah, I do think he is the perfect lead for this.
Yeah.
Got that New Yorker attitude.
I'm trying to see like what movies were filmed inside of a car, but I can't seem to find any. This is okay. I was actually thinking about this. This movie came out the same year as Baby Driver, so it's interesting that two heist movies came out in 2017 that both involve cars, and
there's a lot of car films every year, but yeah.
Well, I mean, Baby Driver is not really focused on the car aspect itself, but it focuses on a driver for heists, and this is also sort of the same thing. So it's interesting the two different concepts taking place for almost the same style of movie.
I also like the speeches he gives his daughter in this movie with like the the things he tells her, like what's the rules, like what are the 2 rules when you're on the track, speed and timing, and he's like, find the line.
Oh my god, this person got a little bit practical with their review. The movie was good until when in the tunnel the wheelman didn't slam it in reverse and back over the motorcycle. It lost all credibility. Motorcycles don't have reverse. Not that style of cafe racer. The motorcycle rider would only have his feet to push himself backward, and in the tunnel, the wheelman could easily aim for the motorcycle if it began to move forward. What?
But
that's not the point.
Yeah.
No, it's not the point to like.
The guy in the motorcycle would have just shot him as he was driving backwards. Yeah. That's very nitpicky right there.
Yeah, I mean they're like, oh,
I thought it
could,
was.
what?
I thought it
But
was
then
cool how he kept stopping to see if he was following him.
Yeah, like he's trying to figure out what's going on. He can't just run over a dude at random,
Yeah.
until he figures out what's actually going on.
And then I noticed you like that shot where the car was messing with them, and he just pulls out the AK and they slam on their brakes.
Yeah, like the two random guys in there because they're like, "Oh, this guy thinks that he can race us or something."
Someone said, "This is a white knuckle ride with twisting script to match." Because that's what I like. The script is like it is a one note story, but it's all over the place. Like he's gonna do this, and then this happens, and then he doesn't know what to do next. It's not just like I have to do this one thing. There's a lot of twists. There's a lot of mystery, and you're confused with the main character. It's not like things are happening. You're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I mean, I agree.
I would say. Oh, hold on, let me go to top critics here. Let me just see.
Yeah,
I know
was
you're
just
looking
at those.
Just want to see what some of the. It only took 19 days to shoot, and it's evident. Even if Grillo had performed most of the driving himself, his final product is underwhelming at best. Wow. 19 days to shoot? That's pretty good.
I was going to say, this $5 million budget, 19 days to shoot, I think that's rather impressive for how this movie turned out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of the... Let's see, one...
I think, if anything, the daughter's
two,
acting at first could have been better, but...
2 out of the 3 critics that they showcase here are women that are showing that they don't like the movie. So I don't know if that is something that, if it's just a car movie or if it's just not their style of movie that they don't like. Like they're actually they're the only two women that actually reviewed this movie.
Well, speaking of that,
except Renee.
Why don't we move over to IMDb and look at the
So I just find that interesting because it's a majority of the guys giving a lot of good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. So when you have 3 women out of the 25 reviewers and 2 of them are saying that the movie sucks, what are they really focusing on?
Yeah. But let's go to the audience reviews and you can see the demographics on IMDb.
Yeah.
We got a 6.4 out of 10, and the highest ones are a 7 or a 6, and let's see, male versus female scores. There is no listing for female under 18. You got a 7.0 for males under 18.
Only 3.
And on generally, you have about a half a point difference for males and female being lower. Notably 18 to 29, you got a 6.6 for males and a 5.9 out of 10 for females. 30 to 44, 6.4 male, 6.0 female, and then 45 plus, 6.3 male and 6.1 female. US 6.5, non-US users 6.3. I guess we love our car movies here. Yeah, I mean, on average, it looks like it's getting mainly a 6 out of 10 and a 7 out of 10. I think that's still a good score. I don't think that means it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of the movies we've been reviewing lately, like, for IMDb especially, the movies that we've thought were fairly, decent, IMDb has sort of rated in the 6s. Like, The Highwayman was a 6.9. This was a 6.4. I guess Black Widow we sort of almost really agreed with.
IMDb, yeah, Black Widow's like, okay. The thing is, I think a lot of people like the only reason I wouldn't give this a 6 out of 10, because then there's some aspects, if you look at this movie from the outside as like I'm going to watch a normal movie, then you will give it a 6 out of 10. If you go into this expecting a fun experiment in filming, then it's higher.
But I think with the way that it's like, if you haven't seen a trailer, right? I haven't seen a trailer for this movie, but I knew going into it because you told me what it was about and what
Yeah.
to expect. I went in with those expectations. But if you're just going and you're scrolling through Netflix and you see Wheelman, and you don't know what you're expecting when you get into it. So
Yeah,
when
you're like, what is this?
you
This
could,
is not a
you
movie.
could just assume that it's a normal movie, but in reality, it's something a little bit different than that.
Yeah.
But I would say for my own personal score, um, I would go a little bit higher. Like for our demographic, I would say it's like a 6.8 out of 10. Just because it sort of fits my preferences for styling.
Yeah.
I like the unique concept, even though somebody said that it's been done before. I haven't seen another movie
Yeah.
that has been strictly inside of a car. So for those reasons, I'm going to say a 6.8 out of 10
Can
for
we
myself.
settle at a 7?
Well, what do you rate it?
Well, let's just say I go for a. I mean, oh boy. I've realized that just because I love a movie doesn't mean it needs a high score. I can love a movie and not give it a high score, because it did need some work with maybe the pacing, maybe the plot, even though I loved it. So I will give this movie a happy 7.2. So we put it at an even 7.
Okay.
I think that's fair. I think it deserves just an even 7.
I think, 30.8% of the viewers watching this gave it a 7. So I think that's pretty fair. We're sort of agreeing
Yeah,
with
it's good.
the
It's not
majority
great.
of the reviewers
Yeah,
on this one. And I think
and you also with the
fairly
27% for 6. Okay, that's fair.
I don't agree. Maybe Rotten Tomatoes sort of got this one a little bit better. They have 66%. I think if it was 70%, obviously what we rated it, it would be more accurate. But yeah, actually IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, if you're putting it into an out of 10 basis, sort of agree with each other. So
Yeah,
that's
and I guess I
interesting.
wouldn't put this as a must-watch. I'd say if you are interested in a unique filming
Like,
style, go see
so
it.
like
If
one
you
of our
like
favorites.
cars, go see it. If you're looking for
Not
a
making it
constantly,
into a favorite category.
no, but it's I think it's worth a watch if you like the categories this movie is in. It's not a must-see no matter what. Yeah. If you like cars,
Yeah.
if you like interesting filming styles, something different, you want something fresh, then it's worth it.
You gotta at least watch it at least once. That's basically where
Yeah,
we're trying to
it's
say.
definitely memorable.
Memorable. I mean,
No, like
I'll be talking about it.
yeah, but I
I
mean,
wouldn't.
like you'll know Wheelman because you're like, oh yeah, the
Yeah,
movie
somebody
from
was
inside
like,
the
"Wait,
car.
you know that movie about the guy? He kind of has a Boston accent. Uh, he's always in that car. But oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
That movie.
I mean, it's memorable. Maybe not in the plot, but it's memorable in the sense that I don't know any other movie that's done this. I don't know what that guy was saying. I feel like I know.
Yeah, I
a movie
could
like
find
this.
movies like Wheelman.
That's why
Let's
I
see.
say it's memorable because it's just so different and unique. This could have also passed as a high budget YouTube project, in a good way.
So best movies like Wheelman. Let's see. Villain. No,
Say,
nothing about it. Beyond the Law.
did you say villain?
Yeah, it's a UK movie
Okay.
from last year.
Oh, last year, so they're copying Wheelman. What's going on here?
But like, it could be like it, but is it
I
going to
don't
be in a
think-
car?
Yeah, I don't think
I want to know if it's in a car.
I have not seen other movies where everything is filmed in the car. Or 99% of the shots are in the car. Some have shots in a car. Transformers has shots in a car, but it's not It's not like this.
Yeah, it's not like entirely in a car.
This is clearly just
That's
like
what we want.
a passion project experiment worth one watch. A 7 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
If you like cars, you like slow-paced action. Recommended. Have at it.
Have at it. I think so. Yeah, overall rating of 7 out of 10 combined. What would you like to do next?
Well, I think
I
there's.
don't think I have any
Oh,
movie news to really talk about unless you...
There is a movie coming out that I think we should discuss because it's got a famous actor. And Hugh Jackman has a new movie coming out, and it's going to be on HBO Max, so it's accessible. Let me look it up. It's called Reminiscence, and it is getting 7. Oh, let's see, IMDb 7.3 out of 10. It releases tomorrow. It's got a budget of $68 million. Director Lisa Joy.
Put it on the podcast.
Okay.
Put it on the...
Yes, sir.
Please.
See? So
I can see it.
Hugh Jackman is the lead. That's what saw my interest. Rebecca Ferguson. She is from Mission Impossible.
Right.
So it's not getting good Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a 46%, but IMDb is a 7.3, and user reviews is 90%. I don't know how that's possible if it hasn't.
Hold on, click on the Rotten Tomatoes. How is it?
Well, wait. I just want to read the description first. A scientist discovers a way to relive your past and use the technology to search for his long-lost love, whilst a private investigator uncovers a conspiracy while helping his clients recover lost memories. I think it's an interesting idea.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
Good tomato meter run, but you can't read them.
Look
right?
at that! Look at that still frame. Oh my god! Oh wait, click on that.
Well,
Click on that thing.
Yeah,
again.
I'm clicking on the reviews. We're gonna see them.
What did it say? It gave like a breakdown of fresh and whatever.
What?
Yeah, there was like a little screen of like a breakdown.
19 fresh, 23 rotten. That's all we got. Let's just see. Let's see. Another puzzle box mystery whose intelligence is simultaneously broadcast by limited by its crisscross flashbacks and speeches, none of which are smart as they are busy. This one is claiming it's just the lead actors who bring the performance to life, but nothing else. Generic high-concept science fiction story is elevated by some fascinating world building that would have been benefited from more time to explore it.
You can't help
Enjoyably dense, but a little plotting.
Well, this will be interesting. This will be interesting.
Yeah, this looks like something we're gonna give a 5 or a 6.
You think so? I mean,
We've seen some that are,
This looks very Inception. This looks like it's inspired by Inception with like memory,
But I like Inception though. I like those kind of movies where you gotta like pick it apart. You know?
No, we love those movies. I'm just curious. I'm excited to see this because I want to see what they did wrong and if they just took too much from other, thrillers.
Too much
like this.
inspiration. Yeah.
It may not be unforgettable, but it'll linger in the brain longer than most. I admire the ambition, but it felt very repetitive. It didn't have the emotional oomph for it to work. Yeah, so people are saying it reminds you of other psychological thrillers that did it better. So we'll see. But I mean, it's got Hugh Jackman in it, so we know the list of actors, the leads are really good, so we know at least the acting will be good, even if the script is, not up to par. Streaming
we'll
and in theaters tomorrow.
What's it gonna be on?
HBO Max.
Oh, so we can literally watch that like
Yeah.
Day of.
Yes, sir.
It's a busy week for the boys.
A busy week indeed. What else is going on?
There's this fly, just like keeps flying around to me.
Suicide Squad's sitting at a 91% tomato meter.
I forgot what it was at last time. I think it was at 91.
Yeah, 83% audience. This movie did very well, and You guys have seen our last episode of the podcast was on the new Suicide Squad movie. We really did enjoy it. What did we agree on for a score?
For a score of Suicide Squad, we
Yeah.
gave it a 7.8 out of 10.
Yeah.
We
Looking back
thought
on
it
it,
was.
I think we should have gave it a little higher, but maybe.
You think so?
I really enjoyed it. Like I can still remember all of it. You know, that was a memorable action movie. Out of all the superhero movies we've had recently, I think Suicide Squad has been the most interesting superhero project since Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping Shang-Chi lives up to be the new
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that.
yeah, the new run in the Marvel family. Hopefully he does good. All right, well, I think that wraps it up. I think this is a little shorter one, but this film was also on the short side. Anything else you'd like to discuss?
I don't think so. I think we covered everything, and we'll come up with a movie to watch next. Maybe, since you know what, let's just do the Reminiscence,
Okay.
since that's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we could talk about that and sort of see what people are thinking about it, and get on the bandwagon early to provide some really juicy conversation.
Agreed. So, final score, Wheelman 7.0. If you like cars, you like action, you will probably like this experimental film. If you're not into if you're looking for a traditional film, this is not it. You need to go into this with the mindset of this is something very unique and different. Otherwise, you'll be not very happy with the film. You'll probably agree with the majority of the audience, a 5 or a 6. But if you're into this kind of style thing, you want to see something fresh and new, then you'll probably like it and enjoy it as we did. Probably worth one watch. So
Yeah, definitely give it one watch.
yeah.
If you see it and you follow us on our social medias, let us know what you think about it. And yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Could be quite soon. This is not following our bi-weekly schedule because we have some time on our hands now. So we'll probably be pumping out some podcasts here and there. But just stay tuned on our Instagram and Twitter for some updates on where we're going live. Instagram, into.themovieverse, Twitter, iMovieverse. Give us a follow there and share it with your friends. And we will catch you guys in the next one.
Yeah, and if there's any car guys who watch this movie, watching the podcast, comment on our Instagram and Twitter, because I know some stuff, I don't know everything. So if you can, let us know, car guys or car girls, let us know how realistic the shifting, the sounds were in this movie for these vehicles, and we're gonna have to discuss that for sure, and maybe another ending segment of our next movie. So thanks again, everyone, for listening or watching, and we will see you in the next episode of Into the Movieverse.
See you next time.